Welcome to Invest Insights. I'm Abby Maloney. I'm joined today by Stephen Dougherty, the Executive Director of the South Jersey Transportation Authority. Stephen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Abby.
You've served in a variety of positions in the public sector, including that of a councilman between 2011 and 2017 in Logan Township, New Jersey. From those experiences, as well as your position today, in what ways are you seeing and hoping to see public leadership become more creative when it comes to collaboration and solving challenges?
So, Abby, I've been in the public sector now for 20 plus years. I started my career working on Capitol Hill in Washington for a local congressman here in South Jersey, and spent a number of years there. One of the things that I learned early on was the idea of bipartisanship, but really collaboration and communication. And as we all know, unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case in Washington today. But I, like I said, that's always been a part of my career. And there's not a project I've done where I haven't had a partner to help it be successful. I've not done it on my own. So the idea of communicating and working together is vitally important. And having team members who can be creative, feel comfortable with one another, and just be able to throw out ideas in that regard. And that's true, I think, in the public government sector, and also in potentially involving the private sector. I know here at SJTA, the DOT commissioner is the chair of our board. I work closely with my counterparts at the New Jersey Turnpike, New Jersey Transit, and the bi-state authorities here in New Jersey. And an opportunity to bounce ideas off of those folks and have conversations about what works best as far as best practices. Because ultimately in transportation, the idea is to create one network that operates efficiently and all together. So communication is important in building out that structure.
I imagine that's incredibly important in such a populous state.
Absolutely. I think we're the most densely populated in the country, and whereas South Jersey, not as much, we still feed into that feeder road system because once again, it's all one network. And if one area is struggling or has issue, it's going to trickle down to the other areas as well.
The SJTA oversees the operations of key infrastructure assets for the region, including the Atlantic City Expressway, the Atlantic City International Airport, and transportation services. Last year, Congress passed a $1 trillion bipartisan bill to upgrade the country's infrastructure. In what ways do you anticipate local transportation infrastructure to evolve now that the infrastructure has become a nationwide priority?
Sure. Well, I think on a state, more of a macro level, we're going to see projects get done that have been shovel ready or in design phase for quite some time and are really overdue. One of the significant projects going on just to the west of the expressway is over $1 billion project that connects 4 significant roadways of both an interstate and interstate highway system. And for the fact that that's getting done ultimately benefits our customer in coming back and forth. And as those projects continue to grow out, we see that a benefit to us. So the toll road itself, the Atlantic City Expressway, does not receive any federal funding. But we do work closely with the folks up at DOT and communicating and collaborating with them on their structures. On the airport side, we're going to see hopefully some to the tune of probably $6 to $8 million additional in FAA funding than what we received previously. And we're really excited about that. We have some projects that we think will have the opportunity to develop, including some cargo and commercial operations and building out runways and taxiways, aprons, which will ultimately produce more economic development and greater commerce here in the region. On the transportation services side, which folks may not be as familiar with here in our world, is really a smaller version of what NJ Transit does in shuttling folks back and forth on various destinations. And we do that in close partnership with our sister agency, New Jersey Transit, where we operate approximately 20 bus shuttles and routes throughout our 6 southern counties. And we think there's probably opportunity for expansion in expanding those routes and developing new services, which ultimately for folks who do not have reliable transportation, an opportunity to get to where they need to on a more frequent and a more efficient basis. So we're excited about that as well.
Sure. New Jersey and the nation as a whole is striving for a greener future. In what ways is the SJTA embracing sustainability, and new technologies to meet the state's green economy goals from a transportation infrastructure standpoint?
So, from a capital program perspective, most recently, almost about a few months ago, about 6 months ago, we completed a project in which we updated all of the lights in our tunnel. We built and operate a tunnel that connects Atlantic City from the Marina District down to Brigantine and into Atlantic City. And as part of that project, once again, we switched out all the lights to LED, excuse me, which provide more light, more efficient, and of course better for the environment. Some of the other things we're working on in partnership with the state and as well as our sister agencies is having our light duty fleet become on the electric hybrids to transfer to the electric hybrid side, with a goal of 25% of our fleet transitioning to that electric hybrid model come 2025. The good news is we've been very aggressive on this, and it's really due to the leadership of the DOT commissioner and our chair that we're at now the goal of 20%. So we're only 5% away, and we still have a few more years. And the thought is that we'll hopefully get beyond that and ultimately be able to expand that fleet. And one of the other things we're doing here, and we're actually in construction right now, and later in what would be April and then in May, we're working closely with Tesla, who is installing 8 charging stations for Tesla vehicles. That project will be complete in April of 2022. Later on in the year, and probably the end of the first quarter, or I'm sorry, the beginning of the second quarter here, we're also working with a company, EVgo, installing 4 charging stations, which ultimately will continue to build out that electric hybrid fleet, not just for us, but for our customers traveling on the road. So we're excited about that as well.
Round out our discussion, what role does creativity play in remaining competitive in today's landscape?
Sure. So on the expressway side specifically, we actually have competition from the state. So there are 2 roads that run parallel to ours that are state run and do not charge a toll. We do. And so for us, we have to be competitive to have people drive the road because once again, they have that option. One of the projects we're working on most recently is what we call all electronic tolling. And ultimately what this will do is it will eliminate the barrier plazas and the coin machines and easy pass machines when you're entering the expressway or exiting off the ramps. And by doing that, you'll have a gantry system that'll traverse the road. And if you're an easy pass customer today, which about 85% of our customers are, there'll be no change. For those who currently pay cash, we hope you'll become an easy pass customer, but if not, you'll get a bill in the mail with an administrative charge and of course for your toll. And ultimately, we think this project, which is going on all over the country, but not here in New Jersey yet, is for the ability to have folks, now travel more efficiently, of course, safer, reducing emissions, as well as reducing congestion. So by doing this, especially on peak travel times and what we call our 100 days of summer, Memorial Day to Labor Day, we hope and we believe it's going to ultimately provide a better service and a better commute for our customers.
A short anecdote. I'm originally from South Jersey, so I'm familiar with all the roads that you're talking about. And the concept of a toll road is not always known in the United States. And the fact that we have a variety of options, it can sound confusing, but I know exactly what you're talking about, having traveled them so often. I'm currently now in Florida, and that new system that you're talking about that New Jersey has adopted, the pay by plate, Florida has had at least for some time now. And I remember the first time going through it, knowing kind of the difference between what the Easy Pass that you're talking about is like versus what a Sun Pass is down here. But I did think it was phenomenal that I didn't need that, but I could be charged later by bill in the mail. So I'm happy that New Jersey is doing that because I think it will provide more opportunities for you.
Definitely. And we're working closely with the New Jersey Turnpike on that project as a joint venture and ultimately getting the entire network for transportation, specifically from a toll road structure on that same system, which once again will be better for the customer at the end of the day.
Well, thank you again. That was Stephen Dougherty, the Executive Director of the South Jersey Transportation Authority. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to hear more CEOs and thought leaders share their opinions and advice on today's business climate. Until next time, I'm Abby Malone, and this is Invest Insights. Thanks for tuning in.